guys, how you doing? Welcome back. This video wanted to talk about what my study habits were doing nursing school, and also want to talk about the Nclex. Um, so to kind of get into it a little bit, my study habits. So let me explain to you um, my paramedic school experience. So when I went through paramedic school was a very hard school for myself. I don't know about you guys. So a little bit more. I originally went Con Ed, got my paramedic, but then I later on bridged to get my associates in emergency medical science. So we're talking about my basic paramedic experience, not my associate's degree in emergency medical science. So my basic paramedic experience, my paramedic course was about close to a year, and it was pretty difficult. Uh, we probably started with like 40 people, and we ended like 12. Honestly, that's how difficult it was. And so um, we organized study groups during that time, and we did what we had to do to get through it. But one of the things that I liked about paramedic school was the information was in the books. You had one book. As long as you studied, as long as you was able to memorize and understand your how to go through your patient assessment, primary, secondary, um, you could get through paramedic school. There was some memorizations when it came to things like pharmacology, knowing what medications, to give for your cardiac meds, your respiratory meds, and things of that nature. So was it hard? Yes, it was hard. Nursing school is a totally different scenario because with nursing, it's not about memorization. Nursing school only purpose is to prepare you for the NCLEX. And the easiest, I think the most comparable test I can give is the National Registry exam and the NCLEX. The interesting thing about testing doing paramedic, it wasn't that I didn't know the material, it was choosing the best answer. Critical thinking to choose the best answer, but you pretty much knew on the test. Nursing, there's so many different conditions, there's so many different medications. On a nursing test, you may not even recognize the condition or even recognize the medication. But you have to have enough, but you have to understand safety. And by understanding safety, you're able to go through those questions and kind of rule out which would be the safest answer choice given this scenario, even if you don't know the condition and if you don't know the drugs. So that's what made nursing school hard. As far as the material, it was a lot of information, which we had to study. But I think what threw me off was the fact that I studied like a paramedic. I went through, I wanted to know what the condition was, what the nursing interventions were, and I would be good for the test. Wrong. You're going to understand the nursing interventions, you're going to even understand the condition and still get the questions wrong. I know that's not going to make any sense to you guys, but I'm sorry. That's nursing. So that's what made nursing school so hard. So my study habits, if you look at the clip during the introduction, you will see a picture. And hopefully my wife will insert this picture real quick. And this picture literally, this is literally my kitchen dining room table. And this is for one exam. One exam consisted of 12 chapters. I had PowerPoints printed out. I had a study guide printed out. I had a Nclex study guide book on the table and my textbook along with index cards I've made. This was for 12 chapters for one test. Nursing school tests are some of the hardest tests I've ever taken. And keep in mind, this is from a guy who made a 91 on the North Carolina state exam for my paramedic, a 91 out of a 100. And nursing school, I barely got by with a B. So nursing school, I'm telling you, if you want any study tips, here's what I can tell you. Use more resources than just a textbook. There's different resources like Nurse Sarah on registerednursern.com. She broke down a lot of information so I can understand it and hit a lot of the highlight bullet points. The Saunders Nclex book was a really good one that I was able to kind of go through. For example, if we went through renal disorders, I was able to go through renal disorders and look and see what the key points are about renal disorders and my nursing interventions in one's area, and I was able to apply that to the test. So for nursing, you have to use a little bit more resources than just use your actual textbook. And so my Nclex experience, Nclex was truly one of the hardest tests I've ever taken. Just kind of set it up for you. So I graduated on May the 14th. My Nclex date was May the 28th. I had one of my other coworkers, they took it early. They took it like a couple of days afterwards, and they posted in our group, say, hey, I passed an Nclex. So I purchased UWorld. I went through UWorld, maybe 90% of the test bank. I was scoring pretty decent, and so I was like, hey, I'm ready for it. So I moved my date up. Originally, my date was like June the 20th. So when I went in to take the Nclex, of course, you have to empty your pockets. You have to show your ID. You have to have your authorization to test that comes from your state board of nursing, which was mine here in North Carolina. And so when I went in, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. I can do this. First 8 questions kind of reminded me of my school exam. And I was like, I think I can get through this. After question 8, I didn't know anything else. Question 9 through 75, I had literally, I was clueless. We have these questions called select all that apply. That means you have a question and you have to select each answer choices. I had 6 answer choices and I had to select which one were correct about. It wasn't a multiple choice. I had 31 select all that apply questions. And I literally felt defeated. I think I got to question 50 and I was like, there's no way I passed this exam. And I think my last 2 questions were really easy. But I got no questions I was good at. I got no emergency nursing, no cardiac, no critical care. All my questions were basically peds and OB. And that was basically what I was weak in. And that's what Nclex hit me with. I walked out feeling really defeated. I told my wife there's no way that I passed that. I went into seclusion for 2 days. People was calling me, asking me how the Nclex was. I wasn't returning no calls. I was in the bed. I was depressed. 2 days later, I got my results back and I passed. And I cried like a baby. I'm talking cry, ugly cry. When your wife come downstairs and was like, honey, I was a wreck. But I passed. I was officially a registered nurse once my license come in. So here's what I'm gonna tell you about the Nclex. It made sense how hard my tests were in nursing school. It made sense that these questions were out of this world, impossibly to pass during nursing school, because it prepared me for Nclex. Nclex is the same way, but harder. So some of the nonsense you're going to go through in nursing school is for a reason. It's to pass the Nclex. Guys, keep that in mind. So if you guys have any specific questions about Nclex, reach out. I'll be waiting for your comments and I'll be ready to answer, guys. Happy nursing.